All right, we're back with another episode on our 50 State series. If you're new to this series, my name is Nick, owner of Copperhead Detailing, and I've partnered with Armour Detail Supply to do a paint correction and ceramic coating completely free in all 50 states. In the last episode, we traveled to Tampa, Florida to meet Michael and his legendary Bayside Blue R32 GTR. We brought the paint back to life with a full paint correction, then protected it with Armour Pro ceramic coating. It was an incredible way to kick off the journey, and now it's time to hit the road for our next stop. In this episode, we're headed to Atlanta, Georgia to meet up with David Patterson, or who you might know as That Dude in Blue. We're taking on his Grabber Blue S13, and let's just say the paint was in pretty rough shape. You're gonna wanna stick around and see how this one turns out.
Hi guys, my name's David, and this is my 1990 Nissan 240SX. I got it back in 2015 as a project car, and I was way in over my head. I had no business buying this basically barn find car. It's actually under a tarp at Top Speed Motorsports, which is now Sissio Performance here in Atlanta, Georgia. And when I got the car, I towed it all the way back to Virginia, ripped out the original single cam engine in it, and decided I was going to do a 2JZ swap from the Toyota Supra and put it in the Nissan 240SX S13. And little did I know it was going to be an absolutely crazy journey of learning things the hard way. And now 10 years later, after getting the car, I have learned a lot and learned what not to do. But for the most part, the car makes around 600 horsepower. It's on E85 for fuel. It's a Garrett GTX Gen 2 turbo. It's a 3071, so full boost, full power at basically 3,000 RPM. It's incredibly violent, and it spins tires immediately. Originally, the car was a street car, essentially just to drive around, have fun in. Had Michelin PS4Ss on it and Cup 2s, depending on the season. And I road tripped it all the way down from Atlanta to Ocala, did the half mile there in it. Then road trip from Ocala to Daytona, drove it on Daytona, and then drove it to Sebring and raced it at Sebring as well. And the car actually at one point was shipped out to Las Vegas for a project car challenge run by Rob Ferretti of Super Speeders, and did a whole bunch of cool stuff out there too. And every time the car was on track, I learned something new about the car that I needed to fix. So there's always something, especially with the S13. It is a labor of love. There's always something to fix, and there's always something to improve upon. But now it has a GK Tech handbrake in it. It's got an angle kit up front, so I can drive it on the street. But if I want to get a little bit rowdy, I can go have some fun at the track.
All right, we made it to David's shop. Car's right outside. Let's go get started. Let's talk tools. So the sprayers that come with the products are great, but if you really want to level up your wash process, the dual action sprayer from Pressall is a game changer. Next is the Viking barrel brush. As much as I hate to call anything viral, there's a reason this thing is blowing up. For the faces of the wheels, I like the Ultra Wheel Mitt from the Rag Company. Since it fits right on your hand, it's easy to get all the contours of the wheels, no matter what type of wheel you're working on. I honestly don't remember what lug nut brush this is, but Detail Factory makes some really good ones. And speaking of Detail Factory, they make my favorite tire brush as well. It comes in 2 different sizes and a ton of different colors. Up next is the wash process. Any good paint correction starts with a perfectly clean surface, so we're using Decon soap. You only need about an ounce of soap in the bucket and roughly 2 to 3 ounces in the foam cannon. But if I'm being honest, I never really measure, just kind of eyeball it. The Drift foam cannon is probably the best value on the market. It has a wide mouth bottle so it's easy to fill, an adjustable fan pattern, and lays down incredibly thick foam, which is not only fun, but helps make your wash process safe as well. And lastly, for your wash media, I prefer a wash pad over a mitt. The 10X wash pad covers more surface area so I can clean panels more efficiently. Plus, since my hand isn't inside of a mitt, I'm less tempted to apply extra pressure or scrub aggressively. But that's just a personal preference. And the Rag Company sells it in a combo, so you don't have to choose. Once we're done with the contact wash, we're just going to give the vehicle a quick rinse before moving on to our iron remover and clay bar. This is the part where having a dual action sprayer comes in clutch. Wheels and tires are one thing, but when you have to work your way around an entire vehicle constantly spraying the trigger, it can become pretty fatiguing. And I've been spoiled with my press-all bottles, so this was definitely a humbling experience. Since the car was blue, I was honestly kind of surprised at how visible the chemical reaction was from the iron remover, but that just goes to show how contaminated this paint really was. After letting that dwell for a few minutes, we foamed the car again to add some lubrication before claying. We started with a clay sponge because you always want to start with the least aggressive option first, but after checking the paint, the hood, roof, and trunk were still heavily contaminated, so we switched to a traditional clay bar for those areas. The clay sponge was plenty for the rest of the vehicle. Now that we're done cleaning the vehicle, it's time to give the car one final rinse. We want to be thorough here and make sure that we've removed all of the iron remover and any leftover soap. Then it's time to dry. Since we stripped away any protection that would have been on the paint, we use a combination of air to blow out water from the cracks and crevices and a drying towel to actually soak up the water that's on the paint and glass. Here, we're using the Color Burst drying towel from the Rag Company, and I like a Milwaukee leaf blower with a stubby nozzle on it to give me more control and help avoid any risk of bumping into the paint. This vehicle hasn't had a proper detail since it was repainted over 10 years ago, and honestly, it shows. The paint is covered in swirls and scratches, which means more work for us, but the transformation is going to be insane. Before we start polishing, it's important to tape off the trim, especially on these older 90s cars. Replacing trim pieces like this are becoming harder to find, and when you can find them, they're usually pretty expensive. With the condition this paint's in, it's definitely going to need 2 steps of correction. We're starting with a cutting step to remove as many swirls and scratches as possible. For this, we're using the Last Cut Plus from the Last Detail. It's honestly one of the best compound and polishing systems you've probably never heard of. We're pairing it with either an Oreo microfiber cutting pad or a wool pad from Buff and Shine. The wool pad cuts a little faster while the microfiber pad runs a little bit cooler, and it's my personal preference. Either way, this step is going to leave behind some light haze that we'll clean up during the next step. Now it's time to remove the light haze from the cutting step and really make this paint pop. Rather than me telling you how good this paint looks, I'm just going to let the results speak for themselves. It's honestly so rewarding to be able to watch this back to see what a difference we're able to make. For the finishing step, we're using the final polish from the Last Detail paired with a white Buff and Shine finishing pad. If you're anything like me, you hate dealing with cords, which is why the Milwaukee cordless polisher is my go-to. It's smooth, the battery life is great, and I never have to worry about dragging a power cord around the car. For those tighter areas, I'm using a 3-inch ShineMate polisher, and Jeff is using a 3-inch Mirka to knock out the smaller panels. Now that all that hard work has been done and the paint has been perfected, it's time to protect it. Before applying the coating, we wipe the entire vehicle down with panel prep. This is one of the most important steps because it removes any polishing oils or residues left behind, allowing the coating to properly bond to the paint and perform the way it's designed to. Towel choice matters here too. I use the Rag Company's Creature Edgeless because it has long fibers on one side and a tight weave on the other. Either side would work, but I prefer the long pile side just for that extra peace of mind after spending hours correcting the paint. For protection, we're applying Armour Pro. It delivers incredible gloss and an extremely hydrophobic finish to make future washes easier while helping protect the paint from UV rays, bug guts, bird droppings, and other contaminants. To apply it, we're using the no soak applicator included with the coating. When it comes time to level the coating, I always use a 2-towel method. My first wipe is the Rag Company's Edgeless Pearl to level the coating, followed by an Eagle 450 as an insurance wipe just to make sure I don't leave behind any high spots. You'll know it's time to switch towels when they stop absorbing the coating and start pushing it around instead. Just for reference, I went through about 3 to 4 of each towel on this car. Once the towels are used for ceramic coating, they're pretty much done for detailing. I usually retire them to a shop towel or just toss them so that way I don't get them mixed up with any of my good towels. So normally I'd recommend using Armour glass coating on the windows, but there was a little miscommunication on my end, so unfortunately we didn't have it. Luckily, Armour Pro can also be applied to the glass. And since we used a 50 milliliter bottle, we had more than enough coating left over after we finished the paint. And of course, every coated vehicle leaves with a maintenance kit from Armour and the Rat Company.
Here in Georgia, you have humidity, you have trees. It's one of the most forested cities in America, being around Atlanta, Georgia. And so you get pollen and trees and like all these things that are really hard to avoid. But now it's summertime, and my buddy Jeff, who gave me a call, said, hey, we'd love to really clean up your car. And the before and after is absolutely bananas. I appreciate all the work that's been done, and I could not be happier with it.
All right, so that's a wrap on Georgia. I think this thing came out amazing. You guys let us know what you think down in the comments. I do want to give a huge shout out to David. Thank you so much for being just an awesome host and letting us come work on your beautiful S13. With that being said, we're still on the search. So if you have a vehicle you think would be a good addition to the series, we'd love to hear from you. Shoot me a DM at Copperhead Detailing, or shoot the guys at Armour a DM on Instagram, or leave a comment below if you think you have something that would be a good addition to the series. With that being said, that's a wrap on this one. We'll see you guys in the next 8. Peace.